The mind is not strong because it dominates, but because it understands. Strength is not shown in how loud you are, but in how deeply you listen first to yourself and then to the world. True mental strength is not the absence of fear, doubt, or pain. It is the ability to face them with stillness. When you wake up each morning, you are given a choice. Will your mind lead you, or will you lead your mind? Most people are slaves to their thoughts. They are dragged through the day by worries that are not real, opinions that are not theirs, and fears that do not belong in the present moment. But you must be different. Your first task is to bring awareness to what repeats inside you. The thoughts that say, "I can't." The stories of the past that still hold power over your confidence. They must be seen, not suppressed, because what you do not face will quietly rule you. Strength begins the moment you become the watcher, not the prisoner of your own mind. But awareness is not enough. You must also train your discipline. The strong are not ruled by how they feel in the moment. They still rise when tired, still speak with kindness when provoked, still continue when no one is watching. Mental strength is built in these invisible moments, the small decisions that compound into power. Life will test your center. It will send people to test your peace and situations to stir your stillness. But you must not be reactive. The strong observe first. They do not let temporary emotions lead to permanent damage. In the space between action and reaction, they find their freedom. Not everything deserves your energy. The strong are selective. They know that attention is fuel. They do not water every fire. They do not argue to be right. They rise above, not from ego, but from clarity, because peace is not weakness, it is wisdom. And above all, mental strength is a daily practice. Just as the body is trained with repetition, so is the mind. Silence is not wasted time. Reflection is not a luxury. Every time you sit with yourself, every breath you take with presence, every moment you choose response over reaction, you are becoming stronger. Your thoughts are not just fleeting whispers in the mind, they are seeds, and every seed, once planted, will eventually grow. Some grow into strength, others into fear. Some bloom with peace, others twist into anxiety. The difference lies not in the world around you, but in the world within. If you do not guard what enters your mind, you will begin to live someone else's reality. You wake up in the morning, and before you've even opened your eyes, thoughts have already arrived. Some say, "I'm tired." Others say, "It's too late to change." Some may whisper, "You're not enough." These thoughts are not facts, but when you allow them to take root, they begin to build a lens through which you see everything: your value, your path, your potential. The strong one is not the one who never hears these thoughts. The strong one is the one who watches them, but does not follow, who listens, but does not obey. There is a great power in becoming the observer of your mind. Just like clouds passing in the sky, not every thought deserves your belief. Some must simply be seen and then released. Mental strength begins when you stop letting your thoughts choose your direction. It begins when you interrupt a negative cycle with presence, when you hear that voice of self-doubt rise up, and you do not shrink, when your mind says, "I can't," and you gently but firmly respond, "Let me try." This is not arrogance. It is awareness. The greatest battle is not out there. It is in here, between the voice that repeats old limitations and the deeper voice that believes in your quiet becoming. One is loud, one is still, one is familiar, the other requires listening, but the one you feed is the one that grows, so be careful where your attention goes. It's not just thought, it's creation. Discomfort is not your enemy. It is a messenger, a silent teacher in disguise. In every moment that stretches you, frustrates you, unsettles you, there is something awakening beneath the surface. Most people flee from discomfort. They avoid it, numb it, silence it. But those who seek growth do the opposite. They turn toward it, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand its purpose. Imagine a blade being forged. It does not become strong in stillness. It is placed into fire, hammered, cooled, and then placed back into fire again, over and over, until its edge becomes sharp and unbreakable. The same is true for the mind. You cannot expect strength without tension. You cannot become unshakable by only choosing comfort. Discomfort reveals where you are still attached. It exposes where you still fear, where you still doubt, where you still resist. In that moment when your patience is tested, when your plans fall apart, when the unexpected arrives, you are offered a choice. React as before or respond with awareness. Most people repeat, but those on the path choose to refine. The body strengthens under resistance. The same applies to your inner life. When you sit with discomfort rather than escape it, it begins to change shape. What once felt unbearable becomes a space of clarity. You see the difference between pain and panic, between urgency and importance. You learn to breathe through what you once ran from. And something else happens too. Your confidence grows. Not the loud kind, but the quiet trust that says, I can handle what comes. That trust doesn't arise from success or praise. It is built in silence, in solitude, in the spaces where you didn't give up, where you stayed not because it was easy, but because you were becoming. Discomfort doesn't break you. It introduces you to you. Detach from the noise. This is not about isolating yourself from the world, but about rising above its endless distractions. The modern world is loud, not just in sound, but in pressure. It pulls your attention in every direction, demands urgency from every thought, and floods your mind with comparison and clutter. In this chaos, your clarity begins to drown. Mental strength is not built in noise. It grows in the silence you create intentionally, not the silence of an empty room, but the silence of a focused mind. Every scroll, every notification, every unnecessary opinion you allow into your awareness is like a drop in a container. Eventually, it overflows not with truth, but with confusion. You begin to lose your own voice among the many you absorb. To detach from the noise is to reclaim your space. It means choosing what enters your mind instead of letting the world pour in whatever it wants. It means turning off what does not serve your growth. It means walking away from debates that lead nowhere, from information that only agitates, and from conversations that leave you drained rather than nourished. True strength lies in choosing less clutter, less drama, less digital distraction, more breath, more intention, more presence. When you step back from the noise, you begin to hear the only voice that matters, your own. And not the voice shaped by fear or ego, but the one that speaks when you are calm. The one that always knew what you needed to do. This detachment is not withdrawal. It is refinement. It is the sharpening of your inner blade so that when you return to the world, you do not come back overwhelmed, you come back aware. Not reactive, but responsive. Not seeking attention, but rooted in attention. And this shift, subtle as it may be, becomes the seed of unshakable mental discipline. Do difficult things on purpose. In a world that constantly seeks comfort, strength is born from discomfort. The mind, like the body, grows only when it is challenged. If every day is easy, then your strength remains hidden, your resilience untested. But when you willingly step into discomfort, cold, silence, effort, resistance, you awaken something ancient within you. The one who chooses the harder path sharpens the blade of their willpower, not because they enjoy suffering, but because they understand its purpose. Climbing a steep mountain is not pleasant, but the view at the top cannot be reached any other way. In the same way, doing what is hard every day, waking early, speaking truth, staying disciplined, saying no, remaining calm, these are not punishments. They are practice, and practice matters more than motivation. Motivation is a wave. It rises and falls. but training your mind to lean into difficulty, to walk into the storm instead of hiding from it, that creates a mind that does not depend on mood. It creates a mind that chooses what is right over what is easy. That is mental strength, not just to endure pain, but to step into it with awareness and know why you are there. The small acts are the ones that forge the greatest change. Choosing a cold shower, sitting in silence when the mind screams for distraction, finishing what you start, resisting the urge to react. These small things shape a very large truth, that you are not afraid of discomfort, because you have walked into it again and again and survived. And in time, you no longer see difficulty as an enemy. You begin to see it as a mirror. It shows you what you're made of, and it reflects the parts you must strengthen. Avoiding the hard path leaves you unprepared. Choosing it builds you quietly, daily, steadily, until one day, what once seemed impossible becomes a part of who you are. Let go of what you cannot control. The more tightly you grip things outside yourself, the more your inner peace slips through your fingers. Life will not move according to your plans. People will not always act as you hope. Circumstances will twist and turn like a river flowing where it must. You cannot hold back the river with your bare hands. But you can learn how to swim. Mental strength is not found in domination, it is found in surrender with wisdom, to recognize what belongs to you and what does not. Your thoughts, your actions, your choices, these are yours. But the opinions of others, the timing of outcomes, the chaos of the world, these belong to the wind. Trying to control what is not yours creates tension in the mind. It invites frustration. It breeds anxiety. But letting go, that is where the calm begins. Letting go is not giving up. It is choosing clarity over illusion. It is understanding that your peace is not dependent on everything going your way. Instead, it is built on how you respond when things do not. The leaf does not resist the wind, it dances with it. The mountain does not chase the clouds, it remains grounded beneath them. When you accept that you are not the master of every outcome, you begin to master your inner world. You stop fighting battles that were never yours to win. You stop trying to please everyone. You stop carrying stories in your mind that weigh you down, regrets, resentments, unrealistic expectations. You create space for stillness, and in that stillness you become powerful, because now your energy is no longer scattered. You are not drained by the storms you cannot stop. You are focused only on what you can shape: your attitude, your actions, your values. This is where true strength lies, not in the noise of control, but in the quiet of knowing what to release. Train the mind like you train the body, with discipline, repetition, and patience. Strength of the mind does not arrive in a single day. It is shaped by what you practice when no one is watching. Just as the body grows stronger with each repetition, the mind becomes resilient through consistent mental habits. What you feed it, it becomes. What you expose it to, it absorbs. What you repeat, it believes. Mental strength is a reflection of your inner training. A calm response to chaos is not luck, it is the result of long practice. It begins with awareness, catching your thoughts when they spiral, recognizing when fear tries to speak louder than reason, and gently returning your focus. The strong mind is not the one that never wavers, but the one that returns again and again to stillness. When life becomes difficult, don't simply wish to be rescued from it. Wish instead to become the kind of person who can stand firm in it. A mind trained in stillness will not be shaken by temporary storms. It does not run from discomfort, it studies it. It learns from the challenge, it adjusts, it grows. That growth is not always loud. Sometimes it is found in the quiet decision to keep going, even when no one applauds. Mental strength also requires boundaries, not just with others, but with yourself. Say no to the distractions that dull your clarity. Say no to the inner voice that says you are not enough. Say no to the habits that pull you away from your deeper values. This self-discipline is not punishment. It is a form of deep respect for your potential. And remember, training the mind is a lifetime journey. There is no final destination, just deeper awareness, sharper focus, greater peace. Each day is a new repetition, a new opportunity to choose clarity over confusion, to choose calm over chaos, to choose presence over pressure. The one who shows up daily, not just when it is easy, is the one who becomes unshakable. The journey to becoming mentally strong is not about becoming someone else. It is about remembering who you truly are beneath the noise. It is the art of returning again and again to your inner center, especially when the world tries to pull you away. Strength is not hardness, it is quiet consistency. It is not loud confidence, it is steady self-respect. When you train the mind with patience, awareness, and intention, you begin to live with greater clarity, deeper peace, and quiet resilience. And in that stillness, you discover true strength was never outside of you, it was always waiting to be awakened within.